Buongiorno, everyone. Welcome to the instant reaction after that 1-1 draw with Liverpool. Could do with a breather. Could do with a breather in a...
Oh, my heart was banging from them last few minutes.
Absolutely mental end to that game at Anfield there in stoppage time where Newcastle should have won 2-1, really, if we're being honest. Mm-hmm. Definitely seeing that as a Newcastle fan, but definitely seeing that as a football fan. ESL, VAR, BIN. Get rid of it. Absolutely fucking shite the pair of them. Join ESL in the bin, VAR. Useless, hopeless, disgraceful. We've got to start on this front, and then obviously we'll be happy and positive and talk about the game. But for me, the only way to start is that crazy stoppage time and the crazy decisions by VAR. Isn't it really, mate? Because, I mean, I think the best thing everyone can do as well is watch our live watch-along and see our reaction to that as it happened.
No, just the last 5 minutes. 5-10 minutes, just skip straight to there.
Don't watch the first 5 minutes of Salah scoring. You don't want to watch that opening 5 minutes. Just watch the stoppage time drama, because that's what the crack is with VAR, and that's how it can unfold, I think, because we're delighted, over the moon, bouncing around, deserved equaliser, great point away at Anfield, Callum Wilson, then he gets scratched off. And then the same happens again. Willock manages to get the equaliser. We celebrate and then we stop ourselves. We think, oh, have they? Wait a minute. You know, they might come up with something here. Someone's told you they might be offside. Someone might have touched something and something's going to go wrong. You know, something mad's going to happen and Liverpool will get the goal. You just never know. So that's why VAR is killing football, because it killed the emotion at the end there, bouncing around, buzzing with the 1-1 through what we thought was Wilson. And then when Willock eventually gets it, it kind of kills it, doesn't it? Because you just think, well, I'm celebrating, but I'm not going to continue celebrating because something might happen. Thankfully, we were allowed to continue celebrating. But if we touch on, obviously, Wilson at first there, goes in on one-on-one with Alisson. He's obviously got Alexander-Arnold pushing him in the back. He shoots, Alisson saves, bounces back against Wilson. He hasn't stuck his arm out. He hasn't went to try and stop the ball with his arm. It's not intentional. It's completely accidental. It's a high-speed game. It bounces off his arm. Couldn't move it. Couldn't do anything about it. And then I think it ends up being an own goal. And then somehow Newcastle get that disallowed for bouncing off his arm. Even the ex-Liverpool player like Peter Crouch and Jenas for Newcastle are agreeing that should have stood. I mean, the game's gone when it comes on like stuff there, isn't it, mate? The game's gone when that goal's getting disallowed. Like,
it's ridiculous. Like, the thing is, like, his arm, it was like by his side as far as it possibly could be. It wasn't even extended the slightest amount. What are you meant to do in that situation? Like, when the ball comes at you so quickly, like from like point blank range, it's deflected. Like Alisson's saved it, comes up at him, hits him with his arm. Like, it couldn't have been placed any better to try and be fair. It's not as if he's fucking Maradona. He didn't stick his hand out. It was nowhere near intentional. I was, week by week, I'm starting to think I don't know the rules of football anymore. Like offsides, I was going to say offsides, handballs. Like week by week, there's just no consistency. Like the offside that we're seeing last week, the West Ham goal, with the week before we'd seen 3 exactly the same as that ruled out. Like, we've been fucking bumped by VAR 2 weeks in a row, basically. Like, there's just no rules, there's no consistency. Like, no one knows what the fuck's going on anymore. Like even the second goal, the Willock goal, can we celebrate? Because you didn't want to celebrate twice and look like a fucking knob. Like, we were absolutely convinced that Wilson goal was the equaliser. A minute later, it's been pulled back for God knows what reason. Handball, obviously, is the reason. But, you know, like, so when Willock's goal goes in, you think, well, is it a goal? Can we celebrate? Is that the end of the game? Is that the actual equaliser? Like, it is pretty fucking killing the game. Like, you feel like you've got to rein in your celebrations, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, the call should be made earlier instead of having to get to VAR. And at the minute, it's like 9 times out of 10, they're getting it wrong.
Big time, getting it wrong. Get rid of it. It's killing it. Absolutely killing it. Imagine if you were in the away end there, man. I am.
I know.
Right now, but if you're in the away end, celebrating that goal, up and down the emotions. I mean, Brucey's up and down on the touchline there at the end. Looks like he's got a keel hour. There's not many who can handle that kind of drama and stress. Like, it's an absolute madness. But thankfully, Willock does it again. The super sub does it again. Got the big equaliser against Spurs. Got the even bigger winner at West Ham last week, and then he gets a huge equaliser again today off the bench. The super sub Joe Willock, but I mean, good to see him embracing the Brucey Bear hugs at the end, all friends and everything. But what on earth does he have to do to start a game of football, man? He can't start next week at Arsenal.
I know. Well, that probably is the thing. Even if he could start next week, like, that probably is Brucey's secret weapon, because, as you say, the last 3 weeks or whatever, it's worked. He's come off the bench, got with big points at Tottenham and Liverpool, a huge 3 points at West Ham. Super sub, might as well just keep his legs fresh, play Sean Longstaff and John Joe Shelvey, who, let's face it, aren't the best. We'd rather see neither one of them in the starting lineup. But at the minute, we're getting the points. That's 7 points in the last 3 games now, or is it 8? I can't remember. But points that we didn't expect. Points that we didn't expect for the most part, like Tottenham and Liverpool and West Ham. That's 5 points that we wouldn't have expected if we went into that game and we got beat by them. We'd be like, well, got beat by the better team, really, didn't we? But we're getting huge points, goals from Willock to settle all of them points. But I don't know. I think Brucey's happy with that level of consistency. The same team, it's getting the results. Willock and Wilson on at the end, pull it back if we need to, and so yeah, that's it. So even if I think Willock was available to play next week, which is a fucking shame now that he can't even be on the bench. He can't even be a super sub next week. Like it's a shame that, like, because at the minute we could do with him because he is picking up points seemingly one-handedly at the minute.
Well, the return of Richie has been highlighted, rightly so. The return of St. Maximin, obviously, especially against Burnley, but Willock as well, they're popping up with some massive goals. Get him signed up in the summer, but that's a one for another day. That video topic. We talk about the game now from the start. Salah, 3 minutes in, puts them ahead. His best finish of the season, really.
It's a great goal.
You start thinking, oh yeah, we're going again. We're going to get battered. People are tuning out already, thinking bollocks to this. It's sunny outside. I'm going to enjoy my Saturday. Leaving the game, not watching it. We persevered. Newcastle persevered. Even that first half, Liverpool had a load of chances as well. They weren't firing after that. Mane, Jota, Firmino, all of them wasting chances. Salah with one saved. Newcastle trying to shoot themselves in the foot a couple of times, trying to play it out the back, thinking of the Man City.
I didn't want to say that again.
Never want to see that again.
Nathan Guardiola shit around here.
Kieran Clark having a stinker. Shelby turned out to be our centre-back for the last half an hour or so. Goodness me, it was all a bit mental, really, on it. And then the big first chance for us in the first half was obviously Sean Longstaff. Brilliant run, held his run well. 1-on-1, should have scored, didn't. And then, it was one of them ones, wasn't it, where both keepers had work to do. Obviously, Dubravka more so. Loads of saves, loads of battering by Liverpool, but just not that end product. And then doing what we do best, snatch and grab, keeping ourselves in the game, and nicking the point, calling the preview, £55 up. Lovely stuff. But feel a judge that it wasn't really 2-1, to be honest with you.
Yeah, could have been. It was a great game, though. But we just weren't clinical enough, and you can say that for Liverpool. It could have easily been a mad scoreline. It could have been a 4-4, 5-4, 6-5. Out you like. There was some loads of chances. Like I say, most of them were for Liverpool. Dubravka was definitely the busier of the two keepers. That was just a lack of quality from both teams, really. We're going to talk on our half because, to be fair, I couldn't really give a shit about Liverpool in the interest. But we've just got to be more clinical because we could have seen that out. We didn't have to have them 2 goals in stoppage time. Joe Layton didn't really have his best game. Almiron was very quiet. Smaxman looked injured / tired for most of it. Not really enough attacking intent from Shelvey and Sean Longstaff. If Wilson and Willock can play more consistently, then wins and goals can come a little bit easier to her. It was a frustrating game for the most part. Probably enjoyable for a neutral and a little bit of drama at the end. But I think we both predicted somewhat generously that we could get a 1-1 result out of this. So I am happy that we've gotten it. It's a point, as I said before, that we didn't expect against a very good team, the champions at home, where we're not very lucky at Anfield. We haven't gotten many points there in the past. So it's a big point, but yeah, good game. And we did defend okay. I say, Liverpool broke with through many times, but they just weren't clinical enough for themselves. And Dubravka was my hero of the day.
Dubravka kept running it. Saint was lively throughout. And Wilson called for it because there was times in that first half. Remember when Joe Layton and Almiron got themselves mixed up with a nice ball through by St. Maximin. That was a shambles as well, where you're thinking if only Wilson was on the end of that, or we needed him on the pitch. He comes on the pitch, he makes things happen, and then he scored, wrongly disallowed, and then Willock pops up again, the super sub with a big point for the two. And like you say, there's a welcome point now that Anfield.
Massive,
You know, we haven't won there since fucking this shirt was worn by the players 94, 95.
That'd be cool.
Nearly 30 years ago since we won at Anfield, so it's a shame we didn't manage to grab all three and get rid of that. But we'll definitely take the point. Good point there. Good deal all round.
Massive point, yeah. I think every point was said from basically, was it maybe it's the Tottenham game or prior? Like, we knew we were coming in for a hard run in. So I would say like any points welcome. And we are picking them up, like Tottenham, like Liverpool, like West Ham, Burnley. They're coming at a big time now. So we are just pushing inch by inch closer to safety. If we could turn these 1 points into 3, which we could have had today, great. It means that we're not going into the last game against Fulham proper shitting our pants. Like, we've got Sheffield United coming up in our like we've got Arsenal next. They've been very poor. I think a point there would be very welcome. Leicester's got a few injury problems at the minute. That would be a welcome point. Then we've got City, where we're definitely not expecting anything. So obviously a point there would be extremely welcome. 3 points at Sheffield United. And then Fulham last game of the season, we need not worry about it. Like, we should be safe by that point. Fulham may even be down themselves by that point. So we just need to keep picking up these points and just see ourselves safe. And it's what we were saying a few months ago. Like, if we stay up, we don't want to stay up just because there's 3 shitter teams. Like, that's not the way I want to stay up. Anyway, I want to stay up on our own achievements, taking games by the scruff of the neck, getting them points over the line, and staying up because we deserve to stay up. And at the minute, we're 15th. We're a couple of places in the league better than where we were a couple of weeks ago. So let me just keep chipping away at them points and get closer to safety, so we don't need to worry about it come the last couple of the season.
Hell yeah, that'll do for now then. For the instant reaction, we've got fan cams coming your way straight after this. Player ratings to come after that. Make sure you check out the watch along. Like I said, that should be good. I'm not watching it back myself and seeing how crazy we were going out with that VAR nonsense. I don't know what you thought of those decisions in the comments, what you thought of the game overall. Cheers for watching, everyone. Subscribe to the Mike White Channel TV. And enjoy.